Hello, my name's David Taylor and I'm back with another one of my video blogs. We've moved basically into the latter part of March now, and of course at this time of year everything is really beginning to get a little bit of a spurt on. The days, during the day, particularly on day like today where we're a bit cloudy and a bit sunny, the temperature in the glasshouse really does climb up a bit. We're still getting some very chilly nights. So we're still getting a little bit of the reddening of the leaves, which can happen. We're still getting a little bit of that because the night temperature is very cool. If you really want to splash out, you can perhaps increase the minimum temperature of your heaters to trigger on maybe a little bit of a warmer temperature, say 7 or 8 degrees. I don't actually do that, but you can, if you really get a little bit paranoid about this reddening of the leaves. You can try to even out the temperatures a bit by putting up the heating thermostat on your heaters just to keep the night temperature a bit warmer. It can be a little bit of a frustrating time at this time of year, particularly for your show plants, because you stopped them around about, say, a month ago or more. But they are beginning to grow through, and in some ways, you know, you almost want to get on with it really. You want show time to come around relatively quickly. But it's just a question now of just, you know, keeping the plants clean at the base. If you're really sort of into your show work, it may be worth giving them a spray of insecticide. I'll probably go around and do mine over the next 2 or 3 weeks, just to make sure there's no bugs settling in there or anything along those lines. Keeping the plants clean and ensuring that the watering gets right. If you do the watering well, don't give them too much because, as I said, we're still getting quite cold nights, and if you get a cloudy day the temperature can be quite lower than say a day like today when we've got a bit of sun about. So it's important just not to go too mad with the watering, particularly on the zonals, and you'll get a sort of nice good even growth on the plant, which this one is doing quite nicely from this stop that I did around about a month ago. I've also been doing a lot of potting up of tubs and baskets and that sort of thing. Here's some of the ones that I've done. I potted up, I had quite a large regal tub there, and that's really growing on. This is just in fact beginning to flower. I did, if you may remember, I did stick another small plant just in a gap that was made, and that is actually growing quite nicely and filling out a little bit of a gap there that I had, because the original smaller tub that I had just had these two plants in it together, and they're actually starting to flower. So that's all ready to go out. I've got another large plant, that's a plant of orange fizz, a good scented variety. I've got a number of good angel tubs, some of the stronger growing angels. That one's Quantop Perfection and grows very well. And then over here I've got a large pot of a really strong growing scented leaf variety, which has got the lovely bicolour leaves, and that's Both Snowflake, and that's been in there for a couple of years, and I just give that a good feed and that always grows back quite well, so that's doing okay. I've also cut back some of the lower branches that have begun to break out on these trained plants that I've got growing up the back of the glass house here. I've taken out a lot of the lower branches that have just been sprouting out, and that'll make all the energy of the plant grow into the top, which is what I want it to do. Now, I've got quite a number of smaller plants up on my upper bench here that will be used for baskets and some of the other tubs that I intend to do, and we'll do some of those over the coming weeks. Now, some of these I have actually only got hold of in about the last 2, 3 or 4 weeks. They haven't grown on quite as quick as I would have liked. They're really getting away now. Lots of ivy leaf varieties, some of the commercial varieties, which I often use in that sort of situation because I don't think that they can be beaten, some of the PAC varieties and things like that. So they'll be used in basket work, and we'll perhaps go through that in the coming month. In early April I'll hopefully get some of these potted up into some large scale baskets, so we'll go through that together then.